Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit south node, sextile, or trine one's natal moon. Now, this transit could manifest in what you're going away from, your past, uh, what you're naturally proficient in, what could be affecting you to your detriment, and this being in harmony with your mood, your feelings, your emotional needs. Now, I'm not saying that what's affecting you to your detriment is something you're in harmony with, but the way this transit may be expressed, it can be just really being more in the mood, feeling like getting away. You could be getting away from things that are affecting you to your detriment. If you have your, the transit, south node is in the, let's say it's in the Capricorn in the fourth house. It could be a very negative or depressing home life, home situation. It could be a time as well when this transit does take place, is that you could also, people that were prominent in your past, um, you're more, you could be more in the mood, more feeling like doing things with them, interacting with these people, doing activities with these people. If you have the transit, south node, going back to Capricorn again, let's say the transit south node is in Capricorn in the 11th house. It could have been someone that mentored astrology to you. It might be a friend. Maybe it was a Capricorn, sun, moon, or ascendant person, even, or embodied those characteristics. And it's also a time where you're really, things that you're naturally, proficient in, what your emotional needs are can be in harmony, at this, point in time. And if you have, say a Virgo and Scorpio energies involved, and you're getting the sextile aspect, that could be very good for some kind of analytical psychology or something analytical associated with the occult, which can include astrology, or using detail-oriented ability in order to investigate things. And this is a very it could be a very positive transit as far as that goes. And it's also a time as well, when this transit does take place. This is about your past as well. We could be doing things that are connected with your past that were nostalgic. Can be with the mother, family, people you're close to home with, prominent women in your life. And when this transit does take place. So first, I want to say that when you have this transit is some may wonder, well, what's the difference between this transit and the conjunction transit? Well, they're comparable, but they're not exactly or precisely the same. The sextile and trine is very harmonious. It's auspicious. It's flowing energy. While the conjunction aspect, it's more integrating and intensifying. And the thing about it is, and conjunctions can have good and bad qualities in them. And when you have that intensification of energy, sometimes what happens is you get to the point where you become oblivious to everything else. Like in this example, say if you have the transit south node making a conjunction to your natal moon, it could be that you might feel so much like doing things that are associated with your past that you might become oblivious to other things, and it's to the exclusion of everything else. So, like I said, conjunctions can have good and bad qualities in them. Now, anatomically speaking, okay, the moon is associated with the stomach, the chest, the breast, ribs, water retention, and the left or right eye, depending on gender. So when this transit takes place, let's say if you procrastinated on anything, if you have any of these issues that are anatomically connected with the moon, this could be a positive time to get away from those issues. And it can be an effect of doing something about them. Remember, when you have the transit of the south node making a sextile or trine to the natal moon, and you're going to have the transit of the north node making a sextile or trine to the natal moon. If the transit south node is making a sextile to your natal moon, then the transit north node will make a trine to it. So it's a good time to actually address any issues again that are anatomically connected with the moon. So it's, if you've been procrastinating or hesitating on any of those issues, this could be the time to actually do something about it. And again, this is really a very positive time to have for people that are prominent, were prominent in your past, to come around, maybe do things with you that are connected with your emotional needs. If you have say if your natal moon is in Aquarius, those emotional needs may include astrology, electronics, could be tech labs, astronomy, even innovation, or doing things connected with altruism or humanitarianism as some examples. And this is a time as well, if it's a time when you have this transit, if you need to, get away, from any, it could be a negative emotional, situation. This could be, an ideal time to do so when this transit does take place. And the moon is also connected with the public, so it can also be, a positive time for you to incorporate, things that, this time you might feel you have some natural ability for. That way you may feel you're naturally proficient in, to be able to bring those qualities out, publicly. And say if you have, Gemini under the third house involved in this, it might be something like, something with communication or manual dexterity. It could be doing something, publicly, even going door to door as a salesman, using that gift of gab, using like a Gemini voluble tongue to sell, your items. And this is a very, and it is, very positive transit. I mean, transits of the South Node, when they're in good aspect, they still, can be good. Yes, the South Node is generally what you're going away from, but I want to say it doesn't mean it can't have positive elements to it. And this doesn't supplant or replace your natal South Node energy. Of course, the South Node you have natally in your South Node in your natal chart is a constant, and it's going to stay with you through the duration of your life. But when you have the the transit can still have some effects at that point in time when the transit does take place, and there's some energy connected with it. But it's really mainly that time of that transit, and it's not something that permanently replaces your natal South Node placement, for those of you that may be unsure of that. And it's also a time where it can be, if you have people prominent in your past, it could be beneficial, to doing things, that could be home related, whether it's, home renovation or doing things around the house in general, whether it may be cleaning, or it could be, helping you cook, some meals or something, and just cleaning up. As some examples, if Virgo is involved, it might be doing something where you're taking care of a disheveled home and, getting things organized and clean, as an example. Now, another way this transit may manifest, it could be a time where it's positive for going away from, which is the South Node. It could be the negative attributes of the moon sign. Now, let's say if the natal moon is in Gemini, it could be vicariousness, living through others' experiences as opposed to living through your own. It could be superficiality. It could be just, being mercurial, being overly changeable and vacillating, and just generally indecisive, as some examples. Now, also, too, this transit can be auspicious to do something, again, where you might feel at this time you have some natural ability, or, naturally proficient in, which is the South Node. And it can be something that you feel like doing and you're in the mood for, which is the moon. Now, if the transit South Node is in Leo, as an example, it could be doing something with creativity or acting, entertainment, circus performing. It could even be doing something, with product demonstration, whether you might be, showcasing something at a store, or if you're going, doing the door-to-door salesman thing and demonstrating the product as you're, going to, different people's homes, as some examples. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now also too, another way this transit could be expressed, it could be that people that are prominent in your past, which is the South Node, can be in more harmony and agreement with your unconscious side, which is the Moon. Now, let's say, as an example, if the natal moon is in Capricorn, it could be energy, you may be expressing unconsciously or characteristics, maybe being ambitious, disciplined, responsible. Those could be some characteristics you may be expressing unconsciously, but those people, that are could be prominent, in your past can be more in harmony with that. And it's also a time where it could be propitious to leave behind, which is the South Node. And really leave behind something that's affecting you adversely and put attention on your emotional needs, which is the Moon. Now, let's say if the Moon is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, it could be those emotional needs may include cooking, culinary work, it could be history, nostalgia, family-related matters. It could be doing something with plumbing or laundry in some cases. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.